everybody, and welcome back to the Amazon EU Masters. We're getting ready to go into game number 3, which is going to be Zero Tenacity versus Unicorns of Love, respectfully looking edition. Trouble, Unicorns have been absolutely killing it recently, both domestically and here at EU Masters. Zero Tenacity on the other side from the Ultra Liga, 0-2. They're a little bit down on that front, and you know, if they go into next week 0-3, they are going to be struggling. Yeah, absolutely. Again, the last day of round robin, which is the day for the group stage of EU Masters, is just so important, because if you don't have any victories, you need to start picking them up now. You definitely do not want to be going 0-3 in the second week, because then you usually will rely on a tiebreaker to fix the situation for you, which means an extra game, which means you need to wait around to see what other teams are going to do. A lot of these times, the results are not just up to you and you're winning, it's around other teams and their results as well. So right now, right here is the time to start picking up victories. Now, of course, Zero Tenacity have a bunch of players that are known over in the EU Masters, but also in NLC, like we had Sebekx, the Annie, OTP extraordinaire over in the NLC. Fun fact, I used to be Ryuzaki's coach back in the day, back in 2016 or 2017, if I remember correctly. Ryuzaki used to play for a Serbian org called X25, and I used to be the analyst/coach for that team, alongside what is right now Vitality's in the LEC coach. So it's super fun to see people still sticking around, still trying for the beliefs, and still trying hard. Saying that, Ryuzaki was a victim of a level 1 yesterday that ended up bringing the downfall of Zero Tenacity. So we'll see how it's going to go in the early game for Z10 this one. Well, the picks and bans have gone through. The Aphelios, Ari, and Renata on the side of 0-10. On the side of Unicorns have taken away the Nautilus, Callista, and Draven. VZZ is actually a Draven player as well. Quite a lot of Draven players. Let's see what's going to get first picked here.
Okay. Almost actually a huge Renekton. So getting to pick up the champion is so important here. Also, teaming Annie has not been banned, and it was even banned away yesterday. I got Sebekx, very respectful.
Yeah.
So maybe we can actually see the Annie action here as well. I remember back when she was in the NLC, we were playing Predator, Annie was literally roaming around the map instantly after level 6.
Yeah, I like that they picked up here a bit of scaling options to them. I also really like this Renekton pick for Momus, not only because it's a champion we know he's very capable of playing, but on the other side, it's a denial. It's a denial from Scarface. If you didn't see yesterday, Scarface had a killer, absolutely monstrous game on this Renekton, so big denial pick there on that front as well. 0-10, they're going to pick themselves up the Zeri here for VZZ, and we'll see whether or not they go for, you know, something like the Yuumi, which is open, the Lulu, which is open, or if they just want to pick a mid laner that can match up. Trouble, we're in for a long one.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You were saying in the break, you're like, wow, we're half an hour ahead of schedule. Now, we're in for a long game now.
Nah, but like, man, this sucks, because first it was like, yes, we see Sebekx's Annie not banned. Maybe that'd be great. And then we're like, cool, but Yuumi is open, pairs up really nice with Zeri. But how about Corki Azir matchup? Who would have thought of that?
Well, they pick up the Vi here for Lurox, so they are going to accept the top lane's probably going to get quite heavily banned out. They may look towards these support roles as well, but Unicorns can now look to take away things that do well into the Vi. I think Trundle has been something we've seen quite a few people pick up. On the other half, I've lost Trouble. I think the all-consuming Void has eaten her. She's back. Here we go, but I'm expecting to see, you know, some support attention coming in from Unicorns. I'm curious if it is just going to be supports or top lanes getting banned out, and with the Yuumi ban here, expecting to see maybe something like a potential Lulu as well as a ban, just to deny that as a first rotation for Unicorns to love. Oh, we don't have Trouble for audio for Trouble, so I'm gonna keep talking. There's the Trundle. I was expecting to see that Trundle as well, so I'm happy that I was correct, because typically this is where Trouble's meant to be correct and I'm always wrong, but there we go. I'll be happy on that front. We'll see what the next and final ban is going to be. It's just going to be that Lulu ban. taken away from the Zeri. Don't want to be dealing, well, actually, the Zeri and the Sivir, don't want to be dealing with that. And Unicorns actually may just lean towards this Ornn. They've locked it in, just going to look to try and play that weak side up there so it can absorb some pressure. But also, as we get this scaling going, they can play that long-range engage. They have a lot of kind of frontline tools here. And with that Vi to lock down the Zeri, going to be even more impactful on that front. We'll see what the next rotation will be and what the answer is going to be here for Z10. They're going to pick up the Alistar as they are lacking a little bit in the old engage department themselves. Now looking towards a potential jungler for themselves. Question is what do they want to pick up?
Can you hear me now?
I can. I don't know if if everyone at home
I hope
can.
our production can hear me too. Now, Alistar used to be one of the champions that were quote-unquote free into Sivir because his combo has 2 parts of CC and Sivir can only block one of them with skills. Right here, you need a bunch of follow up with Alistar, which you have. You have the rockets, you have the Zeri diving into the backline, you've got Sejuani, you've got a Renekton. And what I really like right here is the fact that this Sejuani is going in the jungle. It can actually be a nuisance towards that both side of the map, mid, top. It can impact the entire map. I personally really like Sejuani much more in the jungle than it is in the top lane, because usually in the top lane you don't get to see the Sejuani very much, like we saw in the game with LDLC prior. But right here, Ryuzaki has the chance to redeem himself from that level 1 yesterday and start getting picks on the map.
Alrighty, well, the Braum is the final pickup here for the side of Unicorns. The love. I'm actually liking both of these drafts. I think both these drafts have, you know, their ways that they're going to be playing. You know, Unicorns definitely a front to back team. They've obviously got the Vibe that's going to be there to handle the Zeri. You know, they've got a lot of frontline tools. They've got a lot of scaling options to them. On the side of Z10, though, what are you expecting out of these guys, Trouble?
I mean, I'm expecting to see them play specifically towards the tops of the map, right? Ornn is supposed to be a champion that loses very gracefully, I would say. Usually when you dive the Ornn, he does have the chance to turn this around. Sometimes you see Spellbook Ornn as well, so he has an exhaust in there, he has an ignite, he has tools to try and slow you down, take you down with him. So I'm expecting to see Ryuzaki playing towards Mumus, create that Renekton, get him to become a monster, and then bleed that pressure towards these Rift Herald fights, towards these early Dragon fights, with that level 6 from Renekton is very important.
Well, here we go. We are on to the Rift for game number 3 of the day. The Ultra Leaguers 0 Tenacity, 0-2 right now in the overall standings. This is the Dark Region's first seed. Unicorns are loved sexy edition, and they have been phenomenally good recently. Scarface, it was all about him in their second game of the groups. But Ruby is a person who I've really got my eyes on. Jamada was talking very positively about him on day number 1 of group, saying he says he is, without a doubt, the best mid laner in the Prime League at the moment. So, and he has been putting a lot of weight of the team on his shoulder and playing incredibly well.
Yeah, I think he's really good at the meta right now. You know, control mages, playing the likes of Azir, playing the likes of Vector. This is what he is really good at, getting priority for Lurox, so he can unlock his jungler on the map. He can allow these early invades. And honestly, I'll agree with you on the Scarface point as well. And what a switch in playstyles this is, right? From playing the Renekton, from dominating a lane with the Renekton versus a tank, to being the quote-unquote victim, if you will, on the Renekton and trying to survive the lane. So we'll have to keep our eyes on that top side of the map with Mumus onto the Renekton versus the Ornn from Scarface and see how it works. Also, we see Scarface has gotten a bunch of these biscuits that will be spawning in his inventory as well. So he'll try as much as possible to sustain through the lane and all the hurt that Renekton can put on in the early stages.
Absolutely. Well, for now, Scarface can actually do pretty okay in that trade. The Bellows Breath and the Brittle Proc does do quite a lot of damage early. But Mumus does have pretty decent sustain, and as we kind of expect, we'll be shoving in for the moment. But on the other side, you've got the Sivir. And Sivir, champion, he typically pushes lane. That's kind of what Sivir does. With the ricochets, can just bounce around, clear out those waves, and VZ and Wojtus are just going to have to accept that this lane is going to be pushing into them. They do have their jungler on the other side of the map as well, where on the other side, Lurox actually is clearing downwards right now, so maybe we can expect to see some action from Lurox on this Vi.
Yeah, usually with Fire, you're really trying to get that level 6 as soon as possible, right? Trying to lock down your targets. When it comes to that bot lane, it's not just an ADC diff when it comes to priority here, it's also support, right? Braum is really good at dealing with melee supports down the bot lane. The second that Alistar goes in, you put your passive on there, there's a bunch of attack speed coming in from Sivir as well. You can very easily proc it, and because that Alistar is not level 6, doesn't have the extra defenses, from the ultimate you get to put down so much hurt on the support, which means that Alistar has to play a little bit further back in this lane, which means there's a bunch of priority, not only in the mid lane, but the bot lane as well. Therefore, you see Lurox playing towards the bot of the map, where he knows that if he chooses to invade, or if he gets invaded, or if he wants to go for the Scuttle Crab, he has the support of both mid and bot.
Mummus is maybe looking for the... Oh, what? He had his jungler. He felt confident, but the brittle, the assassin Ornn strikes first with first blood.
Assassin, marksman, mage, enchanter, support, feral druid, I don't know, Scarface might be in a little bit of trouble right here, but Ryuzaki is going to walk away because he is tanking a bunch of these minions as well, but Scarface, he was on the other side of the matchup yesterday. He absolutely demolished his Renekton. Now on the side of the matchup where he is the tank himself. And let's see how this unfolded as well, because both of these top laners had not backed yet, from what I know, and he's actually the one engaging on this particular fight, and Ryuzaki is going to be around. I don't know if he's seen on this ward, but what?
I don't know. That was a little bit messy.
What?
Kind of underestimating the amount of damage that grass plus the brittle does.
He one-shot him from 20%.
Yeah, I mean, Ornn. Trouble, you're saying that as if you haven't seen Ornn for, like, how many years has it been with Ornn? He's been out for quite a while now, like 2-3 years.
But it's still very surprising, because especially when you know that Renekton is just so dominant in lane, right? He's seen a Renekton with a cull. It's a little bit disheartening, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's like, yes, boys, we're scaling late game. I've got my call right here. When I've cashed in on 100 minions after I bought it, you know, then we can start looking for fights. But that's not why you picked the Renekton in the first place. Yes, I've said that you can use the Renekton as a tool in the late game to create a bunch of space around your AD carry. And that is also the truth, but for the Renekton picks, you usually pick that champion for his level 6 and how dominant he is around the Herald and Dragon fights when people really bunch up in these tight spots. And
yeah,
Mummus is just not gonna be a terror.
No, not at all. And you know, you said Ornn loses gracefully. How about wins with style? He looking very, very good here from Scarface, and Mummus now probably left scratching his head a little bit after the end of that, getting himself pretty heavily bullied out, and now has to bring the old gang around. They have got a pretty decent wave to go for here, but Winsome's also about in the area. Honestly, Unicorns of Love, what has impressed me most about them is their ability to read the map and read what's going on around them. They knew that something was up. They knew that a wave potentially was built big enough for them to jump onto Scarface, so they instantly pull Winsome and Lurox up. They were just out in the wings, far enough away but they weren't going to get spotted out, but also close enough away that if Scarface did get dived, they could turn the tables. And really, really heads up play coming in from these guys. Is see the XP right now. Sebekx is leading that charge, is looking for the gank onto VZZ. Lurox does miss out on the Vault Breaker, gets a little bit of damage off onto VZZ, but not enough to actually really force any summoner spells or anything else.
And honestly, watching a bunch of ERLs and all different champions, I think the fascinating thing about ERLs is how people can bring their niche picks into the fray, right, and win with them. We have a bunch of mid laners playing, for example, the more assassin types in the mid lane. We have a bunch of players playing for these control mages, playing for the priority mids. I feel for Unicorns of Love, it's just so important that they have landed on the second category, which is perma-shoving, perma-priority mid. It is so important, and don't get me wrong, the Aurelias and the Iones and the Celuses and the Akalis are so fun to watch. But giving your jungle that perma-prio in the mid lane, no matter the pick you choose, gives a lot of, one, creative freedom to Lurox, but also a lot of safety for the team that has the perma-prio mid lane. You can roam those dots of the map. cover for Scarface. You know that Shiganari can actually push towards the bottom of the map. You have Ruby that can roam down when Winsome is towards the top of the map. It gives you so many different opportunities for roams around the map because that mid lane just belongs to you. So honestly, props to Unicorns of Love for playing so well around that.
Yeah, Unicorns have been playing a very, very crisp game. Not just in this game, but also in all of their previous games. Gonna get themselves that first dragon. The response, though, coming in from Zero Tenacity is they are going to turn their attention towards the Rift Tail. They've got pretty decent vision. They've got good control topside onto Scarface from Mummus, and this will mean that they will be able to pick this up. Although, if you look on your mini-map, Unicorns are rotating over, so they are aware that this is potentially going on. They're going to be a little bit too slow to the punch on this, and they are just going to have to give it up. The wards will get spotted out, and maybe there's going to be a steal. Lurox, a hero play. He won't be able to pick up the eye unless Scarface wants to charge in, but they're going to look to contest it as long as possible. Ruby can jump over. Here comes the Ornn, jumping in forwards, get the shuffle back. Scarface hasn't picked up for the moment. They've been able to take down one, and now they're looking for Ryuzaki. He's able to get away. Sebekx getting a whole bunch of damage out. The eye will time out as Mummus slides into Ruby. Ruby will go down, and the Braum will steal away the kill. The eye has faded, but Unicorns with a massive denial, and they trade out 1 for 1 in return.
And I just feel like there was an opportunity in there for Unicorns to just grab the eye, because you know you win these fights. Scarface walked down. I think he's a level up onto Mummus's Renekton as well. So if we see this fight again, really nice stuff from Lurox. He just jumps in, steals the Rift Herald, and just flashes back out. And this is a 4 versus 4 where your Ornn is level 8. He's extremely strong. He's going to split the fight apart with the ultimate as well. You see 2 members towards the top side, or 1 member towards the top side of the map, 2 members towards the bot side, and right here Scarface could just kindly walk towards the top side, grab that eye, and then continue with the shenanigans. But nevertheless, since this wasn't ever Unicorn's Rift Herald and it was stolen away, we shall allow this side eye right here for not taking it.
The big thing is it's their denial. It doesn't give an opportunity for Zero Tenacity to get that kind of early injection of gold. Gives them a little bit of power. Obviously, a little unlucky, but Braum has 2 kills now, and not the likes of your Vi or your Azir. Shiganari and VZZ were probably a little bit confused considering they were just farming bot lane while their teams are going for a fight, but at the end of the day, they're both going to be closing in on finishing up their coals and their first items as well. VZZ will be able to finish it up here, get himself injected with that gold, and be ever closer towards that Immortal Shield Bow. As a large wave will make its way forward, and Shiganari on the Sivir does what Sivir does best and just clears out the wave nice and quick.
And in 2 minutes, we're going to have the next objective on the map, which is going to be the dragon, obviously. When you do have a team with Azir, Sivir, Ornn, you really want to play towards that late game, of course. And on the other hand side, for Zero Tenacity, you do have a Zeri and you do have a Corki. These champions can also scale really well and have a bunch of folk. So if the later stages of the game come through and Sebekx starts landing these rockets, VZZ starts landing these Ws on crucial members, there is no region coming in from the sort of Unicorns of Love. So if you can manage to get them chunked down, this is where Sejuani can just jump in, Alistar can jump in, Mummus can get a flank into the backline. So the front to back still stands true for both of those teams. We're just looking at 100% how they execute that, because this is going to be the key.
Well, looks like there's... I am really liking the support jungle duo coming in from Unicorns. Winsome and Lurox are just constantly all over the map. Wojtus and Ryuzaki are in response also kind of being everywhere. Shiganari now is actually a little bit separated from his team, so does have to be careful. Has Ghost and Flash and obviously that spell shield available to him. And this is able to make quick work of the waves. Oh, they are looking for it. It's Corki. He can package, but remember, wherever you go, the Vi will follow. Lurox takes him down. A very, very clean dive coming in from Unicorns. He's able to find himself an easy kill onto the Corki.
Sure, he can package, he can W, he can flash away, but not when you're chain CC'd, because that was a Vi ult into an insta shove from Ruby right there, and Sebekx was not given a single second to react onto that one. I think if anything, the second he saw Lurox, he could have maybe flashed through the wall, but I don't think he was necessarily in a perfect position to do that. So again, Sebekx with no teleport, he's going to lose a huge wave in that mid lane. Azir is going to be able to get to pull ahead a little bit, got that Liandry's from base, and now Sebekx is going to come back with this package. 3 seconds for the dragon as well. And let's look at the teleports, because Mumus has teleport available to join, and he's going to pop it right now in the mid lane. But Scarface is going to have to walk all the way from top lane if he wants to participate. So Unicorns of Love will not have the numbers advantage in this particular side of the river. So they're going to choose to maybe not even contest.
Although Lurox is about, every time I think they're not going to contest, he's there to contest, and immediately Lurox has to flash away. No ultimate available. They jump over the walls. Lurox able to survive. The Braum wall is huge. Shiganari's damage is unbelievable. The ricochet through the team. Zero Tenacity need to be careful, because they are getting slowed down by that Ocean Drake, and the damage coming out from the Unicorns AD carry is nothing to sneer at. The Zero Tenacity are going to be able to pick it up, and thank you, observers. The Holy Bible of the Cloud Soul awakens.
Right. Observers, can we please look towards the top of the map, because Scarface had some alone time with this tower, and he almost took the entire tower platings from that tier 1 top lane playing on into Renekton. So, Ryuzaki?
I think Ryuzaki might just be one dead piggy. Lurox able to make easy work of the Sejuani there.
It's a Poro.
In this skin it is, but it's a boar in canon.
Fair. Okay, so while this whole shenaniganism was going on towards the bot side of the map, you said that Scarface took the entire tower, entire platings from the top side of the map, which means that when you're playing the Renekton into the own matchup, you need to be the one that's shoving in really hard by getting that solo kill, having Mumus TP towards the bot side of the map, and not even used for that fight for the dragon. He was actually zoned away by Ruby. It becomes a little bit uncertain on what Z10's next steps will be, because your Renekton is an entire level behind the Ornn, has 2 points into the ultimate at this point, 2 levels down for the Sejuani. You're falling behind in your bot lane as well. So right now, Unicorns of Love are starting to ramp up. Kraken Slayer completed by Shiganari, which is going to be tearing through that front line with the Renekton, Sejuani, and the Alistar. And right now, you're going to start wondering, because we talked about how it would be pretty easy to poke down people with the Corki and the Zeri, and then try to engage potentially with the flank from Mumus. But no, we're down that many items.
Not at all. Well, we're seeing Rift Tower number 2 getting started up by Unicorns. They're not going to have to steal this one away. Package not available to the Corki, and Shiganari is here this time. And we had a taster of what this Sivir is able to do just at that dragon. Teleport's coming in from Ruby just to dissuade anybody from stepping up. That shutdown that was on that Rift Tower is going to be denied to Zero Tenacity, and they are down 3,000 gold. This Herald guarantees, or all but guarantees, a tower realistically as well. So that gold lead about to grow even wider. I'd like to see it go down in the mid lane. Just really open up this map as much as possible here to the side of Unicorns.
Something else that is very important about opening mid lane as well is who stands underneath that mid lane tower. If it's somebody with a lot of wave clear, yes, you need to put that Rift Herald mid, because you will not have many opportunities to open that tower, especially with somebody who has so much shove and wave clear like Corki. So making sure you possibly pick up a fight around that dragon in like a minute, and then shoving in that Rift Herald in the mid lane to push down that tower could be a diversion, if you will. Obviously, getting a pick first, putting down that Rift Herald, making sure that you open up that mid lane tower is so important versus Corki, because he just shoves in that wave back to you, and by doing that, he also gets farmed up, and he gets closer to what we said about getting this 3 to 4 items power spike on the Corki and just poking you down before the fight even begins.
Absolutely. Well, wave's getting shoved in. Herald's still on that vibe, but waiting for the opportunity to use it, as Lurox actually may just find out Mumus here. Has got the Q to interrupt him, locked down momentarily. He's got the red buff, so Mumus is slowed, and the armor is being shredded thanks to that Vi W. Throws the ultimate as Winsome finds his 3rd kill of the game on the Braum. Maybe a little bit too overeager with those Qs.
Winsome was like, yoink, all me, you're very welcome, Lurox, but You see how the chainsword is also purchased by Lurox, which means not only he was shredding the armor, but he was shredding all that healing coming through from Mumus when he's in his ultimate. He has the Q charge as well. So really good purchase right there. First purchase item from Lurox.
Yeah, really solid pickup actually there for Lurox. And now we'll be building towards that tankier mythic item, should you see from the Vi. It's interesting because the Vi was picked up as a Zeri counter. It's why a lot of junglers are picking up right now, because Zeri is incredibly oppressive as an AD carry to play versus, and having that point and click lockdown, but will follow. No matter where that Zeri goes, you will follow once you've pressed out Arky on her, on the Vi. But Lurox hasn't just really needed to or found the opportunity to jump onto VZZ. Instead, it's had a lot of impact with the rest of the team as Shiganari trying to just test the damage, didn't get a Kraken proc off, and that tower loses a big chunk of health, but isn't actually going to be going down. So Zero Tenacity not able to, well, sorry, are able to hold onto the tower, and decided Unicorns not able to crack the base, the map open a little bit more. This mid lane tower, really the last bastion of map control for Zero Tenacity for now.
But again, it's exactly how we mentioned, right? They're going to put the Rift Herald down in the mid lane, get that chunk as much as possible, and then move down towards the Dragon or try to create a pick on the map right here. The second Sebekx moves away from that mid lane. That means that mid lane tower could be under tower, and because it doesn't have a bunch of HP, the likes of Sivir and Azir can take it down really quickly. But now, you see that Z10 are actually looking for a pick on the map. Sebekx is going to TP back into that mid lane. And Lurox is going to be shadowing towards that bot of the map where Ruby is actually pressuring Shiganari.
Has flash, has ghost, has R, blocks away on some of it, but not all of it. Shiganari is taken down. Zero Tenacity find their opportunity to punish, and they instantly go for it.
Very well played right there. Z10 had their eyes on the Shiganari. They blow both of his summoners, and they end up taking him down, and the kill goes onto the Corki. So right now we see a little bit of a swing in money. You see how when it comes to gold difference, it all goes towards Unicorns of Love being the gold lead for the teams. But when you look at Z10, is that Corki with 100 gold up onto the Azir. We take those. If you will, especially when you are the team that is behind and is chasing. Again, you need to reach that point to the 3 items on Corki, 4 items on Corki, where you're going to be hitting this big rocket, and you're going to be taking HPs that far down, whereas Zeri can actually dash in, and Renekton can dash in and get this point.
Yeah, Sebekx now picking up the blue buff, just looking to try and clear out these waves as quick as possible. Maybe there's going to be an answer onto VZZ here. Everybody is in the wings. Unicorns just want to take this tower down ASAP, and they will be able to pick it up here. I think this is the final charge onto this tower, but Wojtus actually does cheekily jump in. Mumus over the wall, potentially some action to break out, but it looks like the tower goes down, and that is all Unicorns were happy with, and they're going to walk away. That single tower take for themselves, quite happy.
Absolutely. This is what they came for, right? We mentioned how difficult it is to break that mid lane tower when there is a Corki, right? Then he is perma wave clearing whatever types of minions just end up in front of this tower. So making sure that you break that, you start bleeding your vision further in. You see Scarface now is moving in. He does have his sweeper as well. He's just scouting the entire map. He's going to put that control ward down. This could potentially also be a TP ward in 2.5 minutes if nobody has checked that bush. You know, Scarface is going to have his TP, Ruby's going to have his TP, and you could potentially be creating a flag for the set of Unicorns. 4,000 gold, 4,500 gold in the lead right now for Unicorns. 2 items into your Sivir. You can actually start possibly baiting even Zero Tenacity to making mistakes by pretending you're starting the Baron, by taking the vision away from the side of Zero Tenacity and causing them to face check in the jungle.
Well, for now, just holding fast. And this is the thing, when you play into these Corki games, or Zero on the other side, I guess, as well, they're just so good at stalling out and buying time. Like you said, once that is Corki has got 4 items, he's going to be hurting. He's going to be hurting really bad. Scarface, though, 1 level away from starting to hand out the ornaments once Shiganari gets that Wormfall and Sacrifice. Yes, there's a 1,000 gold lead right now between the AD carries, but that could just get even bigger.
That was really
it's pseudo bigger.
Yeah, that was Ruby trying an ultimate right there onto Sebekx, which I believe Sebekx dodged because his flash is still up and available. But you see how Unicorns of Love, like, the game has slowed down. You mentioned it. Corki is so good at pushing in those waves. All you need is to farm a lot more. Get 3 to 4 items on Zeri. We've seen what Jackie Love can do on the Zeri as well when he carried an entire game, upsetting the LEC 1v9 of the champion as well. So get as many items as possible on these 2 carries from the side of Zero Tenacity, and then you just have 3 mid walls in front of you with the likes of Sejuani, Renekton, and Alistar. Whoever gets CC'd, whoever dives too far forward ends up being punished. And we mentioned how when this Vi gets picked, it's usually to try and shut down and stop people from actually evading engages such as Corki on Zeri. But here, Lurox found an Alistar.
Finds and leaves. They almost found a pick there, but they're not going to overcommit. Ornaments coming out. They hand out the Leandri's upgrade over to Ruby. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. I know a few of them, but not all of them. Hasn't actually decided to invest in Shiganari as an upgrade. Decided rather hit Ruby as quick as possible. Will be very, very strong now on this Azir. Basically having an extra half item up on his opponent. So Unicorns, their tower is very healthy, so they are pretty comfortable just to hold from here. On the side of Zero Tenacity, they have to be careful as they jump in, looking for Winsome. Winsome with the hero block, making sure Ruby isn't going to get picked up as Lurox finds Mummus. Mummus has to run away, and Scarface just waiting for his opportunity to jump in forward. Winsome does lose a whole lot of HP though, so has to be very careful. But there comes the flash. Alistar engage. They look for the turnaround, but all are Unicorns.
Scarface.
So much work. Scarface on the back line, and it is an absolute whitewash of a fight. Mummus can't get away. The Braum gets himself another kill. Lurox will find Sebekx with the Q and lock him down long enough. Only Ryuzaki will stand as Unicorns of Love will find themselves another dragon, their third. And they're teleporting towards the Baron. It's going to be about that big worm now.
And honestly, it looked like a pretty won fight from the side of Zero Tenacity. They had shoved in that mid lane wave. They had taken control of the bot side river. But Wojtus overextends. And this is not what your composition does. You need to poke people down with the Corki. You can't just engage like this. There was no package on the side of Sebekx either. So now Zero Tenacity are going to see their entire team dying. Unicorns of Love taking both at Soul Point and the Baron, which will help them a lot with the siege. Said how difficult it is over and over again to siege versus the Corki, and now the Baron is going to help them a ton as they have found Scarface.
Hard for Scarface. Scarface still has a tower. He just needs to survive a little bit longer. Zeri charges away. He's low, and he is going down. They committed a lot for a kill onto the tank.
And I really hope we also get that replay of that bot lane fight as well, because I'm pretty sure that Scarface just 1v2'd both of the carries from Zero Tenacity. There he is. Thank you very much, production. As you see, Zero Tenacity are in a pretty good position right there. The entirety of Unicorns of Love have to walk through that choke point. Corki is so strong, but boom! Scarface lands the knock-up onto both Sebekx and VZ's, the 2 carries from the side of Zero Tenacity. 1 Ornn, 2 carries. Who wins? It's always going to be the Ornn. That's how strong Scarface is with whatever champion he is playing, and as we'll see in the picture-in-picture. Unicorns of Love are starting their siege, and honestly, big props to Scarface. No matter what side of the coin he lands on, whether it's the Renekton or the Ornn, he has been performing so freaking well this European Masters.
Yeah.
And that 2-0 from Unicorns of Love is looking more and more like a 3-0 at the end of round 1.
Yeah, this would be a really, really big boost for this team. Obviously, they are the team where everybody expects to make it out of this group first. Undefeated. That is going to be big if they're able to pull that off. And we did get to speak to a bunch of players on day 1 and kind of talking about like rough estimations of power rankings within the groups. And a lot of teams, or everyone basically went LFL, LFL, LFL. But then everyone also went LFL, but Unicorns of Love. Unicorns of Love are a team who a lot of teams are respecting in this tournament and have the potential to maybe go all the way. And it would be an amazing, amazing story for this team. As you know, EU Masters, very dominated by LFL for quite a while now. Obviously, with KC gone, there's been whole stories about that. Maybe it's LDLC's time, but maybe it's just another region's time. And Unicorns, one of those teams who genuinely could be in that running.
Absolutely. Also, Heretics solidifying themselves in the conversation as well. There's a bunch of teams actually who have stepped up, and especially you mentioned it with K-Corp being gone. Maybe the NLC's only hurdle, which was K-Corp, you know, maybe it's time. Keep in, but back to this game. 9,000 gold lead for Unicorns of Love is as simple as sinking your waves, close to towers at the same time with Baron the up minions and trying to pick up a fight. Talking about picking up a fight.
Oh, Lurox has been caught way too much crowd control. Has not got that flash. He's able to queue over the wall. He's able to get out. Meanwhile, on the other side, a kill will go down. Scarface able to secure it. And now they have no Sejuani ultimate to stop this as well. This tower will crumble. The Baron Siege from the side of Unicorns of Love is starting to cause problems in the base of Zero Tenacity. An inhibitor will go down. They find a knock-up onto Ryuzaki. Unicorns not going to overstay anymore, as they are just going to back off with that one inhibitor for themselves. Cloud stolen 1 minute and 10 seconds. Gold can go get spent. And we'll see where Zero Tenacity are going to be after all of that.
Very good restraint right there from Unicorns of Love. They got what they came for. It was that inhibitor. You don't have to overpush. You do not have ultimate onto your Vi. You need to keep your summoners alive. You can't overextend because there is that soul that you've been building up to for the entirety of the game. And after this, you can actually start pushing the other two lanes. One's going to be bleeding permanently through the top lane with super minions coming in from that inhibitor being down. So you put 1 or 2 people mid, 3 to 4 people bot lane, and you start simultaneously pushing through that. Now, saying this, of course, there is the chance that Zero Tenacity are going to fight for that soul. Scarface has found himself Ryuzaki, and if Zero Tenacity do fight for this Dragon Soul and fall, there's a high chance that Unicorns of Love will just end the game.
Scarface just didn't care. Just jumped straight into that bush. But Dragon Soul spawned up. Package on Sebekx, which is going to be big and could define a lot about this fight. Ruby got that Banshee's Veil, so has got, you know, that one little spell shield to work, which means him and Shiganari, you know, you have to burn one thing on them to be able to actually start getting to them with all this crowd control up and available. And Scarface level 16 on the Ornn. Very, very strong right now. Ornaments have been handed out aplenty, and it looks like Zero Tenacity are looking for their opportunity. They do catch out. That's a key target. Instantly, Shiganari is down. A double kill onto Sebekx's Corki as well, and somehow it's just gone monstrously wrong for Unicorns of Love. Ryuzaki with a beautiful ultimate.
There's still Azir remaining, and Lurox does have his smite. Does he want to chance it on the
into
the base?
He's going for the end. They just need to run interrupt now. They need to stop them from basing, stop them from dealing. Ruby is going to take a single tower down before the teleports come in. They're unable to stop Sebekx, and now Scarface and Lurox have to deal with the smite. Still, the secure for the side of Unicorns of Love. They have got soul. They have got a tower in the base, and Ruby is just being a nuisance. He's going to be able to do so much damage to this tower. Shuffles away to safety as Mumus with the home guards is going to look to chase him down, but Ruby should be able to put the distance between him and the rest of the team as Scarface has found Ryuzaki. Revenge for his AD carry has been dished out as Wojtus will be able to get the blast cone over to safety. Scarface can't find anything more. Unicorns of Love, they are down, but they are most certainly not out now.
And you know what's almost out? That last Nexus tower that's defending the Nexus of Zero Tenacity. But talking about Tenacity, this is what exactly... Oh, they're showing here Scarface.
Scarface has the team, though. The rest of the gang are coming back. Shiganari is here, and he wants revenge, but he's dunked again. VZZ will take him down.
And Shiganari has misstepped twice, instantly got punished by Zero Tenacity. We said there's so much space built for you with the Azir, and as we look here, Ryuzaki, the redemption arc from that level 1 yesterday, finds the target instantly. Shiganari with both flash and spell shield doesn't get to dodge the Sejuani ultimate, and Zero Tenacity well played right here, but as you'll see, Scarface and Lurox is all that's needed. They're both very beefy, very tanky, And Ruby is TPing in front of Z10's face on top of a ward of theirs to try and end the game. And as you'll see, Lurox right there, he was so close to interrupting. Sebekx is back with the ultimate, but gets CC'd. Back to normal.
Back to the Baron, as here comes Scarface with the ultimate, able to dodge away, get a two-man knock-up to follow. VZZ pops the ultimate as Scarface runs away. Wojtus locks everyone down. Good shuffle comes out, but Ruby is very, very low, and he is getting blasted right now. Lurox comes in on the flank, instantly caught out himself, goes for the ultimate onto the backline. VZZ is now going to go down. A double kill picked up for Ruby. Unicorns of Love finally come alive, finding their picks. It's going to be the full ace, and nobody will go down in return. Ace coming in for the side of Unicorns. They've got the base open. They should be able to close the game out. A couple of missteps will cause some questions going into the second week, of the Amazon EU Masters, but they do it. They are able to take down Zero Tenacity in a 33-minute game.
Another very dominant game coming in. I feel like the first three series that we watched have been very one-sided, if you will. But again, Unicorns of Love coming in as tournament favorites as well. You need to put in these performances, especially against the team that are 0-2. Now, unfortunately for Zero Tenacity, commiserations, because they're going 0-2 in that group that they're in. But Unicorns of Love solidifying themselves in that #1 spot is so important for them.
Well, we actually have the jungler from the side of Unicorns of Love standing by, Lurox. So, Lurox, first of all, hello and welcome to the interview. That was a game that felt like it was over very early and then dragged out quite a lot longer than maybe it felt like it needed to. What do you think went wrong there for that game just to go on probably an extra 10 minutes than maybe it needed to?
I don't think it went that much longer than it needed to. It was mainly the 4th dragon. We got caught out once, and then we died on bot lane again, which made it a bit longer. But I think Z10 was just stalling pretty well, I guess. And we didn't have the most explosive comp when they're like hiding under the towers. So yeah, I don't think the game went on that much longer. Z10 was mostly just stalling. And yeah, I guess maybe we could have played. We did some missteps, which yeah, made it go a bit longer than necessary.
Lurox, I just want to say congratulations for an absolutely monstrous freaking performance. You were diving in, stealing heralds, diving in, taking souls away, getting the barons, creating engages for your team. I just want to say, had that game gone on an even footing, how do you think Vi pairs up well with the composition that Zero Tenacity had? Like, if the Corki was full force, if the Zeri was full force? Because we've seen the Vi being really favored in compositions that have a lot of evade abilities like the Zeri and like the Corki.
Well, thank you. And I think I like Vi into Zeri and with Sivir. And it's just kind of like, it's a stable pick that's always disruptive in team fights, has good play on level 6. So I'm always just kind of useful. Even if I didn't have the greatest follow-up this game, I can still be disruptive in team fights, and enemy has to care about me because I can one-shot their backline. So I like to pick overall in general. I don't think you can just always pick it, but I think in this game it was quite nice with Zeri without any protection.
So week 1 is pretty much, well, we're 3 games away from week 1 being done. I want to talk a little bit about, the overall power rankings and your thoughts on, who do you think are kind of the big teams to watch going into the next week, and who do you think's making it out of groups?
You mean for our group or in general?
I will start with your group, but if you have been watching the other games, I'd love to get your opinion on like the in general as well.
I think in our group, it seems like we'll make it out if we keep playing like we do. And then second, I guess it will depend on today's game. I would say Vitality in general seems a bit stronger than Giants, so I would bet on Vitality being second. And then in the other groups, it seems fairly straightforward with Heretics and BDS making it out. I guess in Group B, LDSC was struggling a bit, so maybe there's like an upset with LDSC not making it out would be quite cool. Maybe we'll also make it as first and LDSC will be second and we can play them in the first round. Would be also quite fun. And yeah, Group D, I didn't pay too much attention. The Group D is just a bit weird with the Schalke situation. But overall, so far, looking at all the Mastered games, like all the teams, like even the best teams, all make like a bunch of mistakes, and like starting in draft, they make like weird things. So I think everyone seems really beatable right now for us.
Awesome. So, I mean, I guess going into next week, you know, what are the things that you're going to kind of take from this week into next week? You know, what do you think? Have you learned any kind of key lessons this week, or is it kind of just playing your game and just sticking to that?
I think mainly just keep working on ourselves and focus on how we play the game. I don't think matters too much. I don't think we took that much away from our opponents this week. I think we'll just keep working on us and see how scrims go. Keep working hard on scrims and not be like complacent about going 3-0 in the first week, because it can backfire pretty fast if you're just chilling, and then second week you fuck up and suddenly there's a 4-2 three-way tie and you don't make it out of groups, which I had happen before to me. So it'll be, just gotta make sure we don't get complacent.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping for the 6-0. I think it'll be really hype. Congratulations on a perfect week 1. Hopefully, we'll see you again on the other side coming out of next week. Congratulations, and once again, we'll speak to you again soon. So see you later, all right?
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Trouble, that was, you know, our first 2 games, I think, were very one-sided. I think this game definitely was more one-sided, but I felt like it was still closer than any of the other games we've had. So as we look back on this game, you know, I think Lurox just played phenomenal on this Vi.
I'm on the Prime League hype, honestly. I think probably Unicorns of Love are one of the strongest teams that we have at EU Masters. Scarface, whether he's on an aggressive top laner or a tank, he's gonna get that solo kill, he's gonna snowball his lead. You see Lurox dashing in, stealing Rift Healths, dashing in, stealing souls, starting the Barons, getting out and creating engages, creating disengages. He talked a little bit about the Vi and how he's always, that you have to keep an eye for her, even the later on stages, because she can one-shot your backline. Winsome had the best KDA in his team, not dying once with the Braum at some point, having 4 kills and like 4 assists or something like this. Shiganari had a few oopsies, but we have seen insane performances from him on the likes of Nafelos, and of course Ruby. He is the rock in the mid that will always give you this priority mid laners to allow all these shenanigans from jungle, from support to roam around the map. I think Unicorns of Love are looking like they're one of the strongest teams right now. And honestly, the macro looks impeccable. Their communication during the team fights is something that I'd love to have a peek into, because it seems stellar.
Yeah, no, they just seem to have pretty crisp communication. They are playing very well. You know, there were moments. Obviously this moment where like Shiganari kind of, you play front to back and then everyone walks away from the 2 backliners. Ruby, it was an amazing dodge, but it instantly doomed his AD carry to go down in his place. So, you know, there was obviously a few moments of error. This was one of 2. Shiganari, you know, a couple of mispositional mistakes did cost him, and I was maybe a little overeager and say 10 minutes, but I think, you know, it went on a little longer than it needed to because of this. Ruby tried for the hero play, but no one was able to interrupt the teleport, and that was a big thing. And actually, it was such a good headbutt pull, making sure that they couldn't interrupt the teleport, because I think if that teleport hadn't been interrupted, that would have been it. Ruby could have actually won the game.
Yeah, the game would have been over right there and then. And this is Unicorns of Love actually 4v5ing. Shiganari is not in this particular team fight, and you see the threat of Lurox's Vi. He says, when I'm always lurking behind the backline, if I do find the Zeri, I will kill your carries. And it can't always be picked, but into the Zeri, you always have access onto this champion, which is, it's very easy for the champion to evade these team fights again. And my lord, 19.8k more damage than your AD carry? Ornn, are you okay?
That is actually, I was like, yeah, that's a pretty even damage. Wait, Ornn, like really bad, like amount of, like, I mean, I'm wordless because Ornn is just that champion who just does everything. Long range engage, good frontliner, pretty bonkers damage, and you know, it worked perfectly. It slotted in perfectly. Yes, Scarface got that solo kill at the beginning of the game when Mumus was baiting. His jungler was in the bush and he was baiting for that kill. But overall, a really phenomenal game coming in for Unicorns of Love, and that means they will be ending the week 3-0. But we'll be cutting to a quick break. When we're back, we'll have Vitality B versus Giants. So game number 4 of the night, we're going to switch over and the brothers are going to take over. So we'll see you later.